Hey everybody, I'm Rachel.
I'm Taizi.
This week has been an amazing week at school. You know, we've had Chris Valentin, which we have usually, but he's amazing every time. And we had the Helsers,
Yeah.
Jonathan and Melissa Helser, which, oh my goodness, their worship just was amazing and refreshing and just brought a deeper sense of God's presence in the room. And then Thursday we had Heidi Baker, which was amazing. It was just all about the presence of Jesus and just being in his presence and just like just sitting in his presence and just being able to love him and being loved by him. And it was like she's so amazing and so inspiring.
Yeah.
The story she tells is crazy. Well, anyways, this week is Taizi's week to share, so I'm going to go ahead and let her speak.
Okay, so I'm really excited about this week. Many of you know my story, and many of you know that I grew up in several different homes, and I never really had someone that would define my identity. So I found my identity in so many of the different things that I did. So my identity began to be defined by the things that I did in my path, right? So that's what I grew up with, thinking that I was not beautiful enough, that I was never going to make it, that I was unworthy, and those lies just goes on and on and on, right? In the past couple of days, God just been reminding me of things that he did throughout the years, right? And I'm so blessed to have a spiritual mom and a spiritual dad. If you are a spiritual mom or a spiritual dad, I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you do, because what you do impact lives. So you never know who's going to be the next leader to change the world. So just encourage you to stay faithful, and no matter how hard it looks and it may seem, you are doing a great job. Anyway, so and I'm really blessed to have Cindy Edgett and Curtis Edgett as my spiritual mom and dad. The past 4 years, they've been redefining my identity. They've been redefining on who God created me to be. So this week, one of the highlights of my week has been that intimacy with God. Me wanting to be in that place where it's just me and him, and there's nothing else. And there's nothing else when it's just me and him in a secret place. The guy from the Housers, what's his name? Jonathan. He was talking about his daughter when she was 4 years old. She went out and got this amazing dress. She goes home and runs up the stairs, puts this brand new dress on, and runs down and stands at the door where he's sitting at, right? So at that moment, he had the opportunity to speak life or speak death into her life. And only he was able to define her identity. That moment right there, only him was able to define that identity. So he tells her how amazing she is and how beautiful she is, right? So she runs out, like she went in, got what she needed, and ran out, right? And so another time he was outside mowing the lawn, and she comes out again with the same dress, and right there, and then he had another opportunity to define her identity. And he just keeps on and on with that story. And God just stopped me right there in that moment and brought me back into the times where I went home and I was so deeply broken and not knowing who I was, and man, I'm so ugly, there's nothing good about me. And I remember many times my spiritual dad looking me in the eyes and literally stopping me and looking me and telling me how amazing I was. In those moments right there, God was redefining my identity. I remember many times just sitting down at his feet and he just rubbing my head and redefining my worth and redefining who he created me to be. And God just reminded me that that's who we are. And that's how he wants us to be, sitting at his feet, not worrying about anything else, but just you and him. So I just want to encourage you today that if you didn't grow up with a dad, if you didn't grow up with anyone that was able to speak that into your life, I just encourage you to take a moment and sit in that secret place with God, because he wants to redefine your identity. I would never be the woman that I am today if I wasn't for those moments where God was increasing my intimacy with him through my spiritual dad. Those moments that I was sitting in the secret place, just waiting for him, just waiting to hear his voice. I would never be who I am today if I wasn't for the secret place. I encourage you today to just sit and that moment when it is just you and him and there is nobody else there, just allow him to come in and redefine your identity. And that's what God has been doing in my heart this week. So beautiful.
That is so amazing. God is really, actually, He's shown me where I had put my identity in as well, and it was slightly different. Like, I knew that I was beautiful, and I knew that I'm sought after. But there were things that I was putting my identity in. Like, I would put my identity in being the perfect girl and being the girl who never made a mistake and wasn't wrong and always was prim and proper and whatnot. And for years that really tore me down, because I just felt every time I would mess up, I would just be like, oh, you are a horrible person. Why would anybody want to be with you? Why would anyone want to be your friend? Why would anybody love you? Because I had my identity in being perfect instead of being the God girl. Instead of being the girl that loves God and the girl that loves Father God. And God really showed me that. And He's really been bringing me to a new realization of who I am, and that I am worthy to be loved. I am worthy to have friends, and I'm worthy to be known. And God just keeps reminding me that through different people who come up to me and tell me that. And He just keeps reminding me that I don't have to be perfect, that everything I do doesn't have to be perfect, that everything is a progression, and He celebrates the things that I do, that where I'm growing in things. And so right now I just want to take the time to speak in your life, and I really hope this has touched your life. I know Taiji and I have really been touched by this, and we want you to know that you are worthy. We want you to spend the time with God and get to know what He really thinks of you. Ask Him what He thinks of you. Ask Him who He is to you. He's your daddy, and He loves you so much. He wants to spend time with you. He wants to lavish His love on you. He wants to bless you. And I want you to know who you are. You are beautiful, you are strong, you are courageous and bold, and every move that you make in the right direction is so amazing. He loves that. He is so excited when you take a step towards Him. You are not a failure. You are victorious in Christ. So don't look at something that you did and say, oh, I am a failure, or oh, I failed, because you are victorious.
Yeah. And with that as well, I just this is the challenge for you this week, is that you would spend time in worship in a quiet place. Find a secret place to be with Him. And this has like been one of my favorite Bible verses since he preached about it. Psalm 34:9, where it says, worship God if you want the best. Worship opens the door to all of His goodness, and that's what He wants. He wants all of His goodness to be on you. And the only way that you are able to walk in royalty is when you know who you are.